Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to talk about The Ones Who Live. We actually got the first 3 episode titles. I did a video on the first one, and I don't know why I didn't see this coming, but we actually have the episode titles for the first 3 episodes. We have some early reaction to the first couple of episodes. Well, I'm not sure if it's the first couple of episodes or just the first episode, but we have some early reaction to that. And also the runtime of the first episode, which is actually very, very different than what we actually got before, which I think means that that first episode is mostly a lot of its commercials and stuff like that, if that runtime was actually even right. So anyways, before going further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. So the other day, we actually got some episode titles for the first 3 episodes, and it's actually very, very interesting because I don't know why I didn't see this coming. Like, for some reason, I just thought that we wouldn't get anything like this. But with that first episode being titled Years, it kind of makes sense that episode 2 would be titled Gone and the third one would be titled Bye. But for some reason, I wasn't thinking about that. But that is what the episode titles are. So 1, 2, and 3, it's Years Gone By, which obviously is a nod to the very first episode titled Days Gone By. And I've been really wanting this for a while. Like, I've been wanting them to use this title for a while because it just made a lot of sense, you know, considering that they were going to be doing a time jump. I remember wanting this actually for the final episode of The Walking Dead, because I thought that they would probably do a time jump in that last episode, and maybe we would see Rick and Michonne there, and so just title the final episode "Years Gone By." Right? I think it would have worked, but obviously the show and everything as a whole is just going into a different direction. Like, they're not doing the time jump; their stories are far from over, sort of thing, and so they're just continuing on. And yeah, using the title for this, I think it's awesome, you know, the first 3 episodes being titled this, because now I'm just wondering what all three mean. You know, for the first one, I mean, first of all, I guess I should get into some of this here. The first episode is titled Years. It's directed by Bert and Birdie. Episode 2 is titled Gone. It's also directed by Bert and Birdie. And episode 3 is titled Bye and also directed by Michael Slavis, if I'm saying his name right. I'm getting this information here by at the Walking Dead Universe promos. But I've been seeing this just sort of online in general. So very interesting. Again, like, everyone has like all the episodes now, or at least the first 3. They gave the first 3 out, and they're able to watch them now, and they have to write the reviews, and they can release them at any point after February 14th, which I imagine all of them are going to be releasing their reviews on February 14th, which is exactly, what is that? That's exactly 3 weeks away. So in 3 weeks from now, we're going to get the first reviews for the first 3 episodes of the Rick and Michonne show. And then less than 2 weeks later, at that point, it's gonna be like a week and a half at that point or something, we will get the first episode for The Ones Who Live, which obviously everyone's really, really hyped for. Now, we've gotten some early reaction to this. I've been seeing a lot of reactions to the people who actually watch the episodes, and a lot of them are just saying, like, this is like the best of The Walking Dead, basically. Like you thought that all that other stuff was good, like, just wait, like, this is actually going to be like really amazing. Now, you know, for me personally, I'm not saying that like this show is going to be like not as good, or, you know, I don't think that that's a sort of an overreaction, because I don't think it's an overreaction. I'm sure when we watch the first episode, or even these 3 episodes, we're all going to be just like, wow, this is insane, right? Like, for me, I think what I'm looking for in terms of this is there's a lot of hype just to see Rick and Michonne. And I just feel like, again, I guess I question that. Like, is that sort of, you know, does the excitement, you know, to, you know, just seeing those 2 characters, does that mean that the story in general is just that much better? You know, like, because I just know that seeing them, no matter what, my excitement at first is just going to be too insane to just actually see those 2 characters, that I want to see where the story is going to be once I'm just so, like, you know, like, and that's the thing, I don't even know if I'm going to get, like, you know, just feel more normal towards it, because I feel like by the end, I'm going to be so excited to just see those characters on screen still, because it's just been so long since we've seen them, right? And so for me personally, I am trying to like calm my expectations down. I know it's going to be incredible, like, just based off of the reviews here. And that's why I'm interested in seeing reviews from like other, you know, other outlets and stuff like that, other sources that say that, or not that say, but, you know, that don't cover The Walking Dead a lot and whatnot. I want to see what they have to say, because that's going to really tell me quite a bit. I think that's the one thing that has helped me a lot in terms of watching The Walking Dead a lot in like previous years, is really just like sort of calming my expectations down and then just like watching it as like a show. Like, it's really exciting beforehand and whatnot, but like usually the day I'm going in to watch the show, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna calm down a little bit. I'm just gonna watch this as a show or whatever. And then it ends up just being really great anyways. But like, it does help. It definitely does help a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that with The Ones Who Live, just because I mean, it's literally like, it's that show. Like, that show is just incredible, right? So we'll have to wait and see what the early reviews have to say. Like, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But based off of what everyone is saying, based off of just our excitement in general for, The Ones Who Live, for Rick and Michonne, it seems like it's going to be a really, really phenomenal series. And I am very, very hyped for this. And I just think that as much as I'm trying to be very just like, all right, well, we'll just wait and see. Like, I'm just I'll watch it and see. There is something special about Rick and Michonne, so I am very excited. But we do actually have the runtime for the first episode. And this is according to at Sonia Irina, if I'm saying that name correctly, hopefully. The first episode has a runtime of 55:06, according to the account. And so obviously that was very different than what we got before, right? But this is an actual confirmation now of the runtime of someone who has actually watched the episode. And so the first episode being 55 minutes, I've also seen some stuff online where people have said that this episode, or not this episode, but the other two episodes are like shorter in runtime, I think. I can't remember the second one, but I think it was like 51 minutes or 52 or something like that. And the third one was like 48 or it was like something like that. I don't actually remember, so like don't quote me on that. I don't really remember, but I've never seen anything where they said episode 2 and 3 are like over an hour or like an hour long. So that's actually very, very interesting to me for like one specific reason, and that is the whole debate on, is there going to be a season 2? Like, again, that's sort of been something that people have been talking about quite a bit. I think it's actually calmed down now because of all the early reviews and stuff, or not the early reviews, but the screeners going out, the episode titles and stuff like that. But I just feel like that runtime, that's very normal. Like, there was episodes of The Walking Dead that had a runtime like that, right? So I don't think it's that insane. Like, this is actually very normal compared to like the last season of The Walking Dead, compared to, or mostly like Daryl Dixon and Dead City. So to me, this is on par with all of that. There's nothing extra special in terms of the runtime and all of that. And even the budget, really, with this show, like the budget is 13.7 million. Dead City's budget was like 12 point something million. So yes, it is more, and that definitely, that will affect it a lot more. But it's still roughly in the same thing, right? It's not like The Ones Who Live had like an extra $5 or $10 million, right? Like it was just roughly a million or something like that, or over a million. So to me, this show, like, yes, you can tell the budget looks incredible and everything about the show just looks insane, but it kind of feels like if this is the end here for Rick and Michonne, then in terms of everything that we have so far, it's kind of underwhelming in a way, just because that first episode's only 55 minutes or whatever. The second and third don't seem to be like that long. And so the only hope that you can really have at this point is that the finale is like close to 90 minutes or whatever, right? Which I really don't think it's going to be. I really feel like at this point, after we've seen this now, I don't think they really want to have like an hour and a half episode. Like, I feel like having 70, close to 80 minutes or something like that, they'll do that. I think the final episode had a runtime of about that. Like, I know it was definitely longer, but that was for like the very final episode. And for something like this, I don't see them really doing that. Like, I just don't. So to me, I think that there probably could be a season 2 because of the runtime being just so normal and just how big the story is going to be with the CRM and everything. There's no way you're going to wrap it all up in just a normal sort of amount of runtime. Like, if each episode was going to be an hour and a half or something like that, then I'm thinking, okay, so maybe you are putting a lot more extra effort into this because you are actually ending it all. But if the first episode's 55 minutes and every episode is, a little bit less than that, 48, 45 minutes or something like that, or roughly between 45 and 55 minutes, like that's basically the same as Daryl Dixon. So there's nothing too insane about that for me personally. I think that just kind of means that I think that the show is actually, well, there's a good chance anyways that there could be a season 2. So, well, yeah, we'll have to wait and see at this point here. We did actually get a post by Leslie Ann Brandt, actually, who posted that, follow me on Instagram. I'm dropping some exclusive tomorrow at Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, and shared a photo, I guess, of her on set, and there's some walkers behind her. And yeah, she's in a CRM outfit. And I will say it's kind of interesting. I don't know if she's in a helicopter or in a vehicle, but it's just very, very cool, just kind of in general to see. But we do have an exclusive coming tomorrow, so probably new footage. So I'll break that down tomorrow, obviously. This is what I've been waiting for, is just like all the promotion like this. And I do think a month away as of tomorrow, they're really going to start promoting it a lot. And so as of tomorrow, it's honestly going to be probably pretty insane for the next however many weeks. I guess 4 weeks really, right? Like we're 1 month away exactly. And so expect a lot more. I'm going to have to be on it a lot more in terms of just like covering the show and all that, because there's a lot of stuff. Like I missed one day and then there was a bunch of stuff that dropped, and I eventually don't even get to some of my thoughts on some stuff. Like actually the one thing I really wanted to talk about was the fact that the episode titles being called Years Gone By is very interesting, because you could have just named the first episode Years Gone By, but you didn't. You actually named the first 3 episodes that, and not just like that first one. So I think what that tells me in terms of a storyline, I think that it actually means that the first 3 episodes are really going to focus on their stories separately. And I think they probably will reunite at the very, very end of the 3rd episode. And then episodes 4, 5, and 6 will see them together, and then just whatever's going to happen at that point, right? And that's why I feel like this is going to get a season 2, and I feel like this first season really is a first season setting everything up. Like the first 3, you're going to see Rick and Michonne just doing a bunch of stuff on their own. We're going to focus on their time throughout the last however many years, where we actually, see our characters like trying to do this and that, and it's basically going to focus on like what Rick's been up to for the last however many years. We're going to see him as a Civic Republic soldier. I imagine it's not going to be the whole of or whole entirety of the 3 episodes where it's more of a flashback for Rick. There'll probably be a lot of like current day stuff, right? Like especially for episode 3. And I'm sure at some point in episode 2 it'll be more current day, but I do think that's what it's going to focus on. And then at the end of episode 3, we'll have them actually reunite. They will be together, and then it will just be kind of insane. And then episode 4, obviously they'll just kind of be together, and then we'll just see what happens at that point. 5 and 6, like that's why for me, I just feel like there kind of has to be a season 2, because I don't really know what else you're going to be focusing on. Like it feels like the story doesn't really get going until like episode 4 or 5. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like the first 3 episodes are really just like, this is what Rick has been up to. This is what Michonne has been up to, and just sort of focusing on their lives and like how things are just sort of are. Rick is struggling with this, Michonne is struggling to find Rick and this and that, and she's probably going to encounter a bunch of problems as well. And then, they actually reunite in 3. And 4 is probably going to be the scene where they just all catch up on a bunch of stuff, right? Like episode 4 will probably focus a lot on Rick and Michonne just finally being together kind of thing. And just a lot of that. There'll probably be some stuff where, if Rick and Michonne escape in that episode or something, maybe the Civic Republic's angry about that, so they're trying to find Rick and Michonne and whatever. But then 5 and 6, it's like, all that reunion stuff is going to be, obviously people will still love that, but you kind of have to ignore it now, because you need to focus on the Civic Republic stuff. And if this is one season, you got to somehow end that story. And I just find it insane to end it in 2 episodes. That's why it just makes no sense at all. And I feel like season 1, or the first 6 episodes here, are going to end in a way where, again, in episode 4, Rick and Michonne will be together. Maybe they'll run away or something like that. Maybe a bunch of drama happens in 5, and there's a bunch of crazy stuff with the Civic Republic and some stuff with Jadis. Again, the story is just so massive. And then I think in the end, in the very, very end, there will be something that will be like a setback. And I think this show should end on like a cliffhanger of some sorts. Maybe they tease that Morgan's actually going to be there, right? Like they actually ran into Morgan or something. I could see that actually being the case. And then we just have to wait for season 2, which obviously that's going to have Rick, Michonne, and Morgan, right? That's just how I see it going. Honestly, like I would be so like, I don't know. Like at this point, I'm really just expecting there to be a season 2. If this is it, if this is literally the story, then I don't know how they're going to wrap all of it up, other than it's just going to end with Rick and Michonne escaping, and then they don't really make it back, and the CRM story is just going to continue somehow, which for me is going to be very underwhelming. It'll be so cool to see Rick and Michonne reunite and be together, but like then that's the purpose of the whole story here, is just to have Rick and Michonne together to reunite, but everything else does not matter, which is like, yeah, I would be disappointed with that, because I love the CRM arc. I've loved everything that they did set up there, and I want to see everything sort of connect, and I want everything to sort of matter and make sense, right? But we'll have to wait and see. I will say, as we're going on here, just more and more, we still don't know what the story is going to be. A lot of this is just speculation, but like it seems like it's trending more and more in the direction of there must be a season 2, especially because of the runtime too of the first episode. Like I think it kind of makes sense. But anyways, I've talked about that enough. Post your thoughts on the titles for the first 3 episodes. What do you think the story is going to be for the first 3? And what type of exclusive do you think we're going to be getting tomorrow? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.